Welcome to another Ragged's Beers, Wines and Spirits review. So, to jump onto the beers now, I'm reviewing from Magpie Brewery. It's their Thieving Rogue. And picture of a magpie on the front. That one's not empty. This is a 4.5% beer. Pale ale, brewed with all British hops and malts, supporting British farms and on a 100% green energy powered brew kit. Straw pale with a floral hop character from classic British hops. So, I'll just refresh that so I can keep an eye on things. Good evening. Oh, let me get my glass. Oh. So, just click on this a second so I can bring up the, yeah, I'm doing 4 and then I'll knock it on the head. I don't think I can do any more than 4. 4's enough. And I've got to find my tap connector. Cheers. So there we go. Magpie Brewery, these fellas, or ladies, because these days a lot of ladies in the brewing industry. You know, you see a lot of women, and fair play to them. You know, they're doing a job I'd love to do. Good evening. How do? So yeah, this is a pale ale, 4.5%. What Magpie do, and this is one of the reasons I really like them, is you can go to their tap room, brewery shop tap room sort of thing, take your milk bottles, containers, whatever you're taking, and they'll swill them out for you so they're clean, and then they'll pour beer in. But they'll pour beer and they'll tell, it'll be something, I say it's something daft like £3 a pint. So whatever you take, they will fill that and will charge you only for what you get. Good evening. Cheers, buddy. And yeah, they'll fill it with whatever, you know, whatever you're doing. Good evening, Mr. Kent, or Craig rather. One does apologise. So, local beer review this time, but if you don't know, if you know your breweries, Magpie Brewery have got a good name and they do some impressive imperial stouts. And I've got about 5 of theirs to get through, so I need to crack on. So, golden pour, good bit of carbonation going off there, 1 inch of head. Very floral nose, lovely floral nose. Very minute hops on the aroma as well, but floral all day through. You know, after you've had a day in the sun, it's beautiful to sink a beer. You know, I've had a full day grafting, come home, and you know. So this is what you would class as more traditional. It's not craft. It's not trying to be craft. It's in a bottle. Most stuff in a bottle is, you know. Good evening again. Yeah, getting out of lockdown, eh? Good evening. And enjoying, you know, normality. Good evening, Scott. And I hope you're well, mate. Yes. I haven't watched your rant video, but I can get where you're coming from. So I do, you know, they are tossers. And it does seem that all the cards are stacked against blokes. Yes, some blokes are arseholes, but the good blokes don't deserve it. But it seems like the system's stacked against you. Disgusting. Well, I'm the same with my homebrew, you know. I've got bottles here and I ain't got a clue what it is. It's dark. I'll taste it and I'll say, oh, all of a sudden. You know, with what's going off at the moment in the world, there is no better time to bring up stuff and get it in social media and create a ripple, because you create a ripple and you know, it can go further. We only have to look at Black Lives Matter, what happened there. That was a ripple that created something. The women's thing, you know, these ripples, there's injustices in the world that need to be corrected, and there is a time for people to stand up, to put it on, and this is where social media can be at its best. When it's something that should be right, then fair play. Bottles with no name, that's my name all over, that is. I'll pick something up thinking it's a wine, it's a beer, and vice versa. %, black TIPA. Oh, bless you. Don't think I've come across a black triple IPA before. Cloudwater. They make some nice beers, to be fair. 4.5% for this ABV. So we're definitely talking traditional beer with this fella. You can't beat a pint of wine. You know, it's like a bonus, isn't it? You drink something, you think, right, let's taste this. I mean, one of the funniest times was when I had some homebrew in the house, and the wife's poured my son, 10-year-old, well, I think he was about 8 at the time, to be fair, some Pepsi Cola. She poured him some Pepsi Cola, so she's there pouring in the Pepsi Cola, and I'm surprised she didn't notice as she's pouring at him. And he's walked in with this Pepsi Cola, and he's like, "Mum, it don't taste nice." And it wasn't Pepsi Cola, obviously. It was wine. And they chucked it away as well. Chucked a glass of mine and wine away. You know, that's sacrilege. You know. Hey, but at least he's tasted wine. You got crazy amounts. How many you got, Craig? Out of curiosity. I do actually. How do you know that? You've been Googling? He's a good bloke though. He's really, you know, he's younger than me, funnily enough. But yeah, he's a good bloke. Good man. I ain't come across a boss like it in my life. I've worked for some good people, and I've worked for some wankers, especially in the last job. And you know, yeah, something different. First alcoholic drink I drank was Smirnoff. Not Smirnoff, Strongbow. Obviously, there's a story to go with that. Me, nothing. I ain't got no money saved up. Hey, 90-ish now. Bless. Yeah, get on that review bandwagon. Ward's Best Bitter. I don't think I've had that, you know. The Callum site, we're in the early days, and since I've been there, I've done a lot since I've been there. I've got the woodland back. I've improved the grass cutting side of things. I've brought in just a simple thing like round tree bases, bringing tree bases back. What I'm bringing in is quality. For the future, I'm going to bring in flowers, colour, but in an unbelievable. Yeah. I think they are next to Notts County's ground. Their tap room is next to Notts County's ground, or it might be added. It might be part of the same building. So yeah, the garden with cigarette smoking. Let me just put there you go. Yeah, it's really weird. So this Magpie Brewery, this. Yeah, and that's, you know, I like it when people come to a place and they can get the enjoyment. As for the garden, so, you know, I've watched X-Files all my life and I love X-Files. How are you in contact with him? How's that? Oh, that's strange. Yeah. You'll have to message me later. So anyway, with the old fella's garden, he was an 88-year-old. And a year and a half ago, there's a story to this, obviously. Well, two, two or so years ago, I was on West Bridgeford Park, and this old fella comes up to me and says, I've been watching you gardening. Your gardening's excellent. And yeah, your gardening's excellent. And he was talking and he was saying things. He says, I live up there and I'm above the registry office. And I'm like, this bloke's a bit senile, but, you know, I'll play along with him because, you know, old people are old people. You know, you've got to be kind in life. It's all about being kind. And anyway, a year and a half ago, my workmate, Zoe, who I used to work with, you know, I still miss her. I still wish we could work together because she was brilliant. She came from she'd never had a job in her life, bless her. She came to a gardening background. I taught her how to be a gardener. And she's obviously picked some of that up. Whether she's picked all of it up, God knows. But she's a good gal, you know. And yeah, and she showed me this garden. And I don't care for money. Money means nothing to me in life. Nothing. I don't care, you know. I'd love to have more money, like all of us. We'd all like to be rich. But as it is, I don't care, you know. And he showed me this garden. And I could see it was a garden that needed bringing back to what it should be. And that is an amazing garden. And it's took me a year. People, yeah, it's the people that matter. Money is inconsequential, you know. People, friendship, all matters. The real stuff matters. Money, there. And showed me the project. He says, do you like this garden? And I could see that his wife died 6 years previous, and she was the gardener. She spent all day, every day out there. And I brought it back, and only in the last month did I defeat the garden. You can't take money with you. No. Loving your children, loving your family, having good friends that are there for you when you are going through times of really tough times. I was going through tough times. One friend out of all my friends was still there, you know, and I remember that going forward, you know. Those other friends, well, I'll not say it on here, naughty. But yeah, and now the garden is coming along amazing. So, to the smoking point, I'm in the middle of the garden. It's a big garden. If you go on, I've got an Instagram page called Raggy the Gardener. You'll see on there, if you look back at some of the posts. Anyway, a couple of weeks ago, I'm in the garden. And I'm busy working away because I still feel that the bloke was watching. He was watching and it filled him with such warmth. It was like his wife was in the garden. Not in a strange way, but in a way that I was bringing the garden back to him like his wife did. And what he got from that was amazing. And I knew he liked my work. Good evening. I knew he liked my work. And I've always been a gardener. I love gardening, you know, rich or poor, whatever. But anyway, I'm there the other day, and there's no way I can smell smoke anywhere near me. 61, 49. There's no way cigarette smoke is anywhere near me. I'm in the garden, busy working away. Sniff up cigarette smoke at the side of me, and I'm like, and he smoked obviously, and I'm like, whoa. and it happened twice. That's in them 2 hours. And then last Saturday when I went down again, cigarette smoke at the side of me, and it's uncanny. There's no way I can smell cigarette smoke at the side of me. I'm too far away from all angles for that. So, do I believe in ghosts? No, I'd have to see it first. Do I believe there's something strange in the world? There's elements of the world, you know, I do believe there's something out there, you know, that we, you know, as adults we probably don't understand, because we need to see to believe. Children can see, we can't. And it's all true, you know. I'm not bullshitting you, I don't need to. Why would I? No, there's no fire on the greenhouse. No. And the old fellow, he smoked. So and he smoked cigarettes, and he had cancer. Never told me he had cancer. Yeah, it's, you know, there are things out there that for me, it's an unexplainable element, and I just can't explain why. And when I do the work on that garden, I do a little WhatsApp video afterwards, and I told the daughter, and she sends it to all her sisters and that. And you know, if he was there in some sort of astral plane or whatever, wow, I'd love to see that. Favourite meal? Steak. All day long. Ribeye steak, Stilton on the top, with a nice glass of Malbec. So yeah. Well, I've been to Disneyland, and you know, Twilight, you know, on the Tower of Terror with the Twilight Zone music. Yeah, there are strange things that you just can't, you know, you can't understand, and he may be, you know, he may be there. I'd like to think, if ever when the day comes that I pass away, that I could come back and see my children, and see the wife, and hopefully she's not, you know, hopefully she can move on and not be too distraught. You know, grief is terrible, and it consumes you. There are lots of things we wish we'd have done. You know, I've lost my grandma, my mum, the closest things to me. A fox, maybe not a fox. Cocker spaniel, yeah, lots of hugs. Although maybe not like my dog. I don't want to run around after I've had a shit and run around like I think I've won the World Cup. But there's stuff out there that happens, and a pigeon. Not that twat that was on my roof earlier. So, if I haven't spooked everyone out enough, that was a spooky little tale, wasn't it? Yeah. And you know, you see stuff in life, and it's like the neighbour with that rolling ball that I said the other night. If anybody was watching that, he wasn't in the house. Wetherspoons, if they got rid of their staff, like what was reported in the papers. Remember, media, BBC especially, just stir the shit these days. I can't watch BBC anymore because they just stir the shit. Yeah, I've got no gas for the barbecue, but it's good barbecue weather, definitely. So, did Wetherspoons get rid of all their staff? Because that was disgusting. And is it true that the boss told him to go and find another job? And I I'm not vegan. Yeah, did their boss tell them to get another job? You know, you've got to worry about all these things. And if that's so, if he's been a dickhead, then fair play. They get all what they're going to get. There's people out there for all of us. You know, I was lucky. I'd had several bad relationships. And at the age of 20, walked on the park one day, Nottingham, the Arboretum in Nottingham, where I work, funnily enough. And there's a girl at the kiosk serving ice creams. And I went up to her, lovely person. Good evening, Thomas. Lovely personality. And spoke to her, and I knew straight away from that moment she was the woman for me. Knew it. Absolutely knew it. Never gone after a girl in my life. And chatted to her a few times, and then she came on the Arboretum with the dog, with Max, and I asked her out, and disgusting, the Wetherspoons. I asked her out, and we went to watch The Pope Must Die with Robbie Coltrane, and we had some dickheads behind us crying. They fell out of each other's and crying. And ever since, we've been together. And that was on July the 11th, 1991. And when I asked her out, and in July the 11th, 1998, we got married. So 30 years together in July the 11th, 2021. And yeah, I was very lucky, you know. But there's always someone for all of us out there. You know, if you're on your own and you want somebody, there's some lovely people out there. It's just finding that person. Not very often, no. I do though. I've got one in mind. He's called Charlie. He's a Cocker Spaniel. So, 22 minutes, a bit longer than I intended. Oof. Need to get this one out of the way, get the next one on. Golden Pour. Very, very, yeah, very traditional beer. Floral. Hint of hops in the background. Again, floral on the taste, easy drinking, certainly a pub beer. And Magpie Brewery, you're getting too good at this. .5%, Darren. For me, good beer. For me, a good 4.0. No, Magpie Brewery from Nottingham. And they're right next to Notts County's ground. They've got a tap room. And I'm not sure if it's connected to Notts County's ground. But yeah, 4.0. A really nice beer. They make good traditional beers. They make good Imperial Stout. Meadow Lane. Well done. And yeah, I mean, I've actually sat in the county. I went to watch a county football match. They lost that day. Yeah, typical that I go to my son went, and yeah, they lost, and I was like, oh, you know. But there was a couple of Nottingham Forest lads playing for them, so I was happy. Yeah, 4.0. Back in 2 minutes. Thank you everyone for commenting, subscribing, liking, and yeah, whatever else I forgot. Half canned. Back in 2 minutes. Cheers, mateys. Oh,